I'm super excited to have Matthias today in the interview, and he's the founder of Passion.io. And welcome, Matthias, for this interview.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm super excited, Matthias, to talk about your project Passion.io. I'm super curious to know everything about how you built this company, how you scaled it, in what phase you actually are. But I would start with a very common question. What is Passion.io and who is it for?
Okay, good question. So Passion.io is in the creator economy, and we help creators, and they also call themselves quite often instructors, trainers, teachers, professionals, consultants, and so on, to launch an app under their own brand to really delight and impact their customers with the mobile first features out there that you know from many apps, for example, from Headspace, like really cool audio, from WhatsApp, to do chat, for example, and bring all of that into your own app that you can launch with full control and very, very easily.
So the idea was, and this is something that I got from your website and the stuff that I saw, that one of the biggest problems as a content creator is how to make money, right? And your app and Passion.io is a great way to build your own community of a platform and to find ways to build an online course, to do live calls, to do community, and find a long way to monetize your audience, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I would say creators today, they struggle. There are multiple reasons for that. One is they're essentially on their phone today, like we're all on our phone, wherever you are, and you have to stitch together fragmented web tools built for desktop computers. In Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, these are all apps, right? But you still have to use the web. And then secondly, these big platforms that I just mentioned are controlling everything through the algorithms, the distribution, the brand, and you do not even have access to contact or to get the email addresses of your people. And then lastly, to really make money today as a creator, many do third-party promotions, holding something in the camera, trying to make it very authentic, but it's very obvious that it's inauthentic. If you speak to them, they say that they really love to have impact on their audience and to excite them and to actually also make a business with that. The issue is only the most successful creators today do that successfully. They launch their own products. Kylie Jenner has done that, created $1 billion business with her own makeup line. Kyla Itzien's another one from Australia, created a 400 million business with her own fitness app. And ultimately, it's about launching and creating your own products that sell instead of selling time for money and doing inauthentic third-party collaborations.
And something that I find very curious, and this is something that I want to know more about, is the thing that you don't just give the people your app and have fun with it, that you really try everything to get them started within the first 30 days, right? To get started with your app, really get to know how it works and especially how they can use it to get the people or their community into the app and monetize it. Can you tell us something about these challenges that you implemented? Because I found that really, really interesting.
Yeah, that's right. As a creator, you're essentially an entrepreneur, and to fail as an entrepreneur is very easy. So it's a lot about not just having the best tools, but also the best education and the right mindset. So quite early on, we created, I would not just even say an onboarding training, but a boot camp, which is 30 days long, where you become a better creator. And if you're starting out, on how to actually start successfully to make your first revenues within the first 2 weeks even. And after you're through that program, you will have launched your first product, have your first customers, made 4 figures, and then you can go into advanced programs that will take you then up to a 6-figure business that is much more automated than the first thing that you're launching. Yeah, so it's not just about the software, it's also about the education and the right mindset to become successful as a creator.
This is something that I find really interesting because most of the apps and most of the platforms that I know is that you log in, and I think that the developers and the founders always know how it looks like, how to use it. But in most cases, I find myself some kind of lost in all these interfaces and buttons. And I think along the way, they sometimes are like, maybe we do some kind of academy or a course where we teach some stuff. But I found that really interesting, your approach, that you put like the education some kind of first, and the app is just the tool to implement this stuff to help the content creators to get their first product launched.
Yeah, that's right. We started as an agency in the very beginning, and we really saw what successful creators are doing to successfully launch 7-figure products. What market, what price points, how to build out the funnels, what product really clicks and converts ultimately. And then we took that learning and created an education out of this, which sits on top of our software. And through doing that, we also learned what features are missing, what drives most value to also the end users, so the customers of our customers, and to build the software very market driven, if that makes sense.
And you said it because this would be a question that I'm really interested is like, how did you come up with the idea? Because it's not like I would assume that I have an idea for an app, but you said it before that you started an agency, or that you started as an agency, you had your case. And how many agency clients did you do? And did you do it like worldwide, or did you specialize in only the States, or where did you do it?
Good question. The backstory is I became one of the bigger instructors on Udemy with more than 40,000 students under my belt. I was back then teaching Excel courses. I wasn't very, even though I had so many students, I didn't make a lot of money, and I got really, let's say, annoyed by Udemy that I don't have access to my students. They were always pricing specials. I never really made a lot of money, and I saw the most successful instructors leaving to other platforms such as Teachable, Thinkific, Kajabi. I checked these as well, and then I decided, actually, I'm also not happy with these. I will just build this thing myself. I was very naive about it, built the first prototype, and then once I came out, I launched my course myself in the beginning. It worked pretty well. And then I was thinking, okay, what if actually I bring other creators on the platform, and then I can leverage myself much more. So I reached out to people in Germany as well, but also across the globe. And the people that were most open were the Americans. Back then, it was very easy, for example, to speak with Tony Horton. Tony Horton is the inventor of P90X, which is the highest grossing fitness program on the planet, with more than $1 billion in sales. He was like the inventor of fitness on demand on television, and just like had a call. It's like, hey, let's work together. Okay, done deal, right? And that was very, very difficult in Germany for some reason. So the first customers were Americans. We did everything for them from A to Z, including flying them in and producing and post-production and marketing and customer service and tech and all of that. And we then split revenues, actually profits, 50-50.
Cool.
And had then a few customers, made 7 figures with that. And then said, okay, let's actually scale that system German style, and instead of 3 customers, we do it with 30, then 300, 3,000, and we minimize production times, we optimize
German engineering,
but we couldn't handle the demand. And we had also a lot of inbound requests from creators where we knew it's a lot of effort to actually produce and to do the whole thing, and we are not sure if we can make this person successful. And so we were in a situation like every investor, venture capitalist is, or also what every music level is struggling with, like who are the next big shots that will actually create success and profit. And the most obvious answer here was, let's build a software out of this, because then creators can do it themselves, and we just take a subscription fee for that, potentially down the road participate in the revenues that they are making, but the much, much smaller share. And that is then ultimately a software business, similar to what Shopify is doing, but for the creator economy with mobile apps.
Okay, got it. I'm a little bit curious about the perfect launch when I'm a creator. Can you tell us a little bit what kind of funnel, product, and promotion you did with these bigger content creators in these days? How it looked like?
Yeah. Back in the days, and that's also different to today because not everyone has big audiences, not everyone has already a niche that is clear and they need to find it. And that's all something that we provide today. But back in the days, we were only like betting on these creators. So when we started, we had no idea. We started with one-time offers. So you pay, let's say $27, $49.97, usually not more expensive than that, to buy a digital program. In the very early days, even a course on the web. And then it was obvious that all customers wanted to have apps. So then we pivoted there. But that's what we did first. And then we learned from that we get some revenue. We can actually get much more revenue if we do a launch. Yeah? So that means we promote something that happens on a specific day, and then you can only buy it then. It will never come again. And then it's like closed. And then we maybe do another launch a quarter later. So what that leads to is revenue spike, nothing, revenue spike, usually a smaller revenue spike even, and then nothing again.
And even no upsell, even with just a product.
We had no clue what upsells were. We had no clue what upsells were like back then. That was some time ago. And then we were like, okay, we have to actually increase. We have to do upsells, so increase the basket per customer. But also these spikes are not nice. We want to have consistent income. So we have to add the recurring component to that. And then we figured out how we can create almost course-like structures, which are primed, in my opinion, to be a one-time, to actually make that exciting, that it makes sense and it justifies a recurring price for that, and people invest over and over again. And and that were then, for example, consecutive challenges that you can do. It was also bringing community in and accountability that people keep on going. It's ultimately like an endless progress. You can always level up. And it's away from like, hey, I'm listening to 20 lessons and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. And how did you do, like, in case of the subscription model, how did you do like the splitting of the profits after several months? And then you said, hey, creator, the rest is yours, or how did you find a good deal? Because it's very interesting case, I think. Yeah,
back then we did monthly payouts. So every month we wired money to the creators.
Yeah, cool. That's really interesting because I think a lot of people struggle with this launch cycle that they launch like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times a year. And these are the months where they earn their money. But if a launch fails, they are like, really, really scared that the whole year is like gone. And I really like your approach that is really has something to do with like framing and really to say like, because even if you do a course for a month, it's not over. How to implement it, to get like community, to get other people help you along the way. I really like that idea. Yeah.
You know, the big learning from that was actually that many creators think they need, number one, to have a big audience, but also to have a lot of content, big library, a big course, let me produce all of that and then sell that for $29. But that is not going to be successful because you don't know if that's really what your customers want. And then what we learned from the old days was, let's actually first sell something which is not recurring and also works with just a few customers and sell it at a higher price point, almost that it's like a coaching offer. And then like be with the customers, make them accountable, and it feels to them like you are there with them, get personal feedback. And therefore you can justify that higher price point and you actually learn from these customers what they really need. And there are your founding members, and with them you see what language they use, what pain points they have, and where they actually get value from. And only then you build a product out of this, because that will then have product market fit. That is then what the market wants. And that step is really important to first work very closely with your customers, understand their pain points, and then build something which is scalable and can be consumed asynchronously while you're like somewhere else.
This is really one of the main concepts that I really like, is this evolution from like done for you to done with you to like an online course. And I think most of it, people do it like the wrong way. They do like, here is the online course, have fun, and never had the proof what you said, like, is it working or not for the clients? And this is something that I think creates these online courses where there are like 1,000 videos in there, but people don't consume it until the end. And in the worst case, they don't get any results. And I see it especially along the way. We have learned that we reduced our videos more and more in each segment where we work with customers together and really focused what are the points that really make a difference. What do they need to know? And it shifted everything because the customer, or the clients, they don't have to consume that much. And they get even faster results. And this is something that is really good, that you teach your content creators, that you don't have this giant content library, that this is not the part that sells at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's really interesting that you got to this point. And so the agency wasn't it. It was like software. And is it this evolution from consulting Excel on Udemy to programming your own software, or how did this become a thing? Or have you had some experience in coding before?
That's a good question. I studied business and IT back in the days. I would say though, I didn't really learn in university how to really code. I wasn't the guy that like started when I don't know, was 10 years old or so. So I was always into business and buying and selling and making money, you can argue, but not into tech, even though I studied that. And then I like sold my previous venture to a competitor, and I felt like I could have done everything there from A to Z except the tech part. And I really envy the tech guy because the CTO, he was able to do magic with just a few
lines of code. Yeah.
It's like, this is amazing, right? And like, if you can do that, if I could do that, then I can build whatever. I do not need to raise funds. I don't need to convince people. I can just like build what I want, become successful. And then it's also easier to convince whoever, if it's investors or co-founders or team members or whatever, then at that point. And I went into web development back then with Rails, Ruby on Rails, tested a bit there. And the first 6 months were devastating. It was ridiculous, like how bad I was. But then at some point, something good came out of it.
Yeah. It's a long journey or not? Isn't it like learning a new language that it takes quite some iterations to get the concepts and to learn how to code?
Yeah, yes and no. I wouldn't say I'm actually a good coder. I came from this business background and I learned quite quickly, okay, actually there's a lot of libraries and you can like pull them together as you need. And you're almost like Tetris, you build stuff and plug it together. And I was always looking for getting quickest to the prototype that I can see if I have a viable business. So I was never kind of like coding for the sake of coding. I was more building prototypes and MVPs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so you started coding this thing. You started having like a prototype, and I got like that you at some point got a partner, right? For like the marketing side of Passion.io. How did this become reality?
Yeah, that's Dan, Passion Dan and Passion Matt. He is the face of the company. After the first 3 customers, we met and immediately clicked, and the rest is history, more or less. But no, we have then first started the German style, right, to optimize processes up to 30 people. But then we said, okay, software is actually the thing that makes it really scalable. And shortly thereafter, we then together cracked 100 customers. Then I think it was 180 in year 1, then 800 in year 2, then 3,000-4,000 the year after, and now we are at 6,000 customers, 10 million annual recurring revenue, which is kind of like the yardstick. Thank you. It's the yardstick in the market for not being a startup anymore, but a scale up.
Cool. It's 10 million per year is like one of the metrics to not being a startup anymore, or what is it?
Oh, that's how I see it. Like 10 million is really the threshold where all of a sudden all the growth investors are becoming interested.
Yeah.
And yeah, then the next one is maybe 25 and then 100 and then maybe a billion in ARR.
Yeah, sounds so reachable. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
If you look at Kajabi, they were able to get to 120 recently pretty, just with subscriptions. Mm-hmm. If you want to do billions, so Shopify, then you need to crack payments as well. Mm-hmm. Because ultimately, to become really scalable and successful, you have to participate a bit in the success of your creators. You have to make them successful, and you can participate in them. And Shopify makes of every SaaS dollar that they make $3 payment dollars, and only because of that they reached 1 billion ARR.
Yeah, but let's zoom a little bit into this growth that you had from like 0 to 180 to 800 to 3,000 or 4,000, 6,000. What were like the main funnels and the main concepts to get the people in? Because I'm a little bit curious about that.
That's a good question. One thing that we have learned from the time before on how to sell successfully with funnels and launches and webinars, we applied for software as well. Mm-hmm. So it also made sense because the product in the very beginning wasn't there. It was not even, it was an alpha MVP, whatever you want to call it. It was very, very simple. And we launched a webinar in January 2019, first live webinar, then iterated the webinar. Many Dan did that for 20, 30 times until we were able to record the webinar. Mm-hmm. And we're selling a 6-month annual upfront on the software before it then goes into a recurring, or actually, it's an upfront price for a 6-month access token practice, and then it's recurring. And that allowed us to become break even on performance marketing. Mm-hmm. So we were profitable. We still are profitable on the marketing that we do on the first order. So we can.
That's impressive. Yeah.
We can scale up and make immediately break even, and everything thereafter is then margin. Mm-hmm. And this margin pays the bills. So with that, we can finance the tech team, the marketing team, and all other people in the company.
And it really was like the process that I think, the award in the back of our both cameras isn't the same, but I think it's award from the same guy. And Russell is one of the main guys. I think he said that you're just one webinar, some kind of a way that you have to iterate and funnel. Yeah, right. And you have to iterate it several times. And just what you said, like doing it 20 or 30 times to really nail it, and then to automate it is like the best process to scale your company, right? And I find it really clever what you're saying to get the price for the first 6 months upfront so that you're really profitable in the beginning, and get the people into your subscription model after that, right?
Yeah, and I think it's also good for everyone because we are both in the same boat. We have an incentive to really make sure that they become successful and to be upfront with all that information. If you would just sell education, which many coaches are doing, then you have to like lock all of that stuff behind the paywall. We can be upfront about it. So that's one thing. And then what Russell did with You're Just One Funnel Away, in my opinion, is the commercialization of a language where ultimately he's teaching how to create product market fit. Because if you have a landing page or a funnel with upsells, ultimately someone has to say, this is exactly what I want. It solves my problems I'm buying, and so on. So he's creating product market fit. And that's also what we are teaching with our programs and with the tools itself on how to become a creator that is ultimately successful and becomes independent financially, location-wise and time-wise. Because if you look at even at the marketplaces, and with marketplaces, I mean YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, why does someone have 600K followers? Why does someone have 30 followers? And even then you can talk about the quality of the followers. If you are, let's say, a very attractive woman, quite often they have 98% male followers from very different countries than where the purchase power is. So, if you create something where you have a loyal, strong following that is, very close to you, then you have found product market fit. On the content, on the message that you're having, and that you can monetize. So ultimately, there's as well about product market fit, and everything is actually about product market fit. And Russell has done that in a way where he talks about funnels to create product market fit.
Yeah, I think this is something that most of the people don't have on their map when they're trying to, I don't know, do like online advertising or to get new clients. And this is something as someone who like sells that in consulting and in coachings and stuff like that, it's something that no one wants to buy. If you talk about like product market fit or the offers or the messages, everybody wants to have the fancy funnel or LinkedIn ads or I don't know what it is. But you're absolutely right. I think in 90% of the cases, it's something with the product market fit that is not given yet, that you can advertise the product or the offer yet now. And this is really interesting. And Russell did really a really good job on this part. Yeah. So this is really good to hear that you were profitable with the webinar. That sounds really, really good. And you had a little bit like, what would you say there should be, or there is, I think, in the mind of your customers or clients, this question, what is the difference to a Kajabi? Do you have an answer to that? If people, I would assume they compare you to other platforms that offer that kind of service, right?
Yeah, we have people from Kajabi coming over as well. I would say Kajabi is really good. It's an all-in-one solution for your knowledge business, they call it, for courses essentially. And you can also do emailing with that and so on. How we are different is, instead of like doing courses, which in my opinion is the old world, the new world is you do something which is more interactive. We call it experiences inside of an app. So for example, why do you meditate with Headspace and not through an online course? Because Headspace is just a nicer experience, right? Yeah. So with Passion, you can create an experience inside an app, which is straight in the face of your customers because it's on the phone. And the second thing, it's mobile first. So all the no-code builders, and if that is Kajabi for courses or Shopify for shops, Wix for web pages, and WordPress for blogs, they are all made for web. You build on your desktop computer and you then deliver via browser. But the whole creator economy, the audiences, and also the core apps there, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everything is mobile. So what we are going after is you build on the phone, you ship on the phone, you monetize on the phone, you run your whole business on the phone. And that's where the difference is. To give you another like quick story, how that resonates, take the dating market. In the dating market, back in the days, everyone was saying it's super crowded. There was eHarmony in the US, there was Match, and every country there was just like a lot of players, and it was a red ocean, very bloody. And then Tinder came, and Tinder approached it with a mobile first approach, with proximity-based dating, with swiping, and all of a sudden Tinder took the market by storm. So they did it mobile first, and that's what we are doing as well. So for that reason, Tinder cannot really be compared to eHarmony. It's a very different play. And we deliver therefore mobile first experiences, which is very different than Kajabi. One thing that I didn't know, and this is really exciting, I think, is that Kajabi is really appearing to course owners. So into simple courses, they may be doing some coaching, one-on-one upsells, some personal feedback and so on. But the creator spectrum out there, the creator economy is much wider. And there are some people that are into community a lot, into streaming, into interactive content, what you know from Headspace, but maybe also in fitness and other verticals, right? So all of a sudden, if you bring these best mobile features from other apps onto your own app and branding, then you all of a sudden unlock access to the whole creator spectrum. And that means Kajabi is actually a vertical solution for experts, for knowledge entrepreneurs, you can say. Maybe you can say Twitch is like also a vertical solution for gamers and streamers. And then you have like the only horizontal layer is the platforms. Yeah, think TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. But they dictate brand and control everything with algorithms, and that's tough. And complementary is your Passion app, which is also horizontal, works across verticals for your smallest little niche. And you can actually promote it really nicely on the big platforms. And that closes the loop to what actually has happened on the web, where you have a Shopify where you get no distribution and you have full control, and you have Amazon Marketplace, where you have no control but they bring distribution and customers.
Yeah,
so are they different?
Right? Yeah.
Yes, they are, but actually complementary. So your Shopify store integrates really seamlessly into your Amazon Marketplace. And Passion.io integrates really seamlessly and is really complementary to the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, where you are. And for that reason, very different to Kajabi, Twitch, and so on and so forth. I hope that answers
that answers that really well. And I'm curious, Matthias, so as a loyal Kajabi client, I'm super excited to hear it, because we have the case, and I would be very curious about that. We have the case that a lot of the stuff that we teach our clients in courses right now, where we do give them some kind of lessons so that we don't have to teach it on every call. We do it on Kajabi because the people have to do it on their desktop computer. So they have to use, in some cases, LinkedIn. They have to build landing pages. They have to use like email marketing tools like ActiveCampaign. And I tried several times these apps on the mobile phone, and I was like, not a chance that you can build something really good on a mobile phone. But do you see a case, or do you have cases like in your base where like consulting companies found a way to use your app? Because there is something with this community thing, because I really recognize with like, we have also a lot of like solo entrepreneurs, like coaches and consultants or agency owners. And there is a part of, I can ask someone if I have a question today, or I'm sitting in a train and I want to listen to some kind of input for my next step. Do you have some kind of case studies for consulting companies, how to leverage your app?
Yeah, that's. I get the question now. We do have that today. We are very agnostic. We have people from the very like nichiest business verticals as well. We still have a lot of fitness, like 15%, 15 is fitness, but then it becomes super agnostic. Yeah. There's a lot of reasons why people in the business space use it. One is just their clients tell them like, hey, I want to have it convenient on my phone. Like when I'm sitting on my couch down there, I just want to watch that video. Maybe I want to cast it to TV but just I want to like watch it at my own terms, and convenience is like so important. I would say then the second element is that community is actually the centerpiece of your business ultimately, because that unlocks you to then sell courses, events, upsells, whatever. So everything is about engaging with your people. And where does social interaction happen? Social interaction happens on your phone. Yeah, you text people on the phone through WhatsApp, through like everything, like all the social interaction happens usually on the phone. You're not going to a computer to like interact with people usually. So it's like primed to do this on a phone. And then regarding your email clients, so ActiveCampaign, of course, is really important. We also use ActiveCampaign. But you all of a sudden have an additional channel to get access to your clients, for example, with push notifications. And let's say you want to do an event on Sunday evening at 7 p.m. and people have to show up. Then good luck with your emails. You have to send a lot of emails, and then you have an opening rate, click rate. You have to tell people like edit in your calendar. With push, you can remind them much better. And if you think this again, really mobile first, then think about WhatsApp, right? With WhatsApp, you can make calls. So if I call you, then your phone rings. So that means we don't have that yet, but we'll have that soon. You can actually create an event where 20 people are attending, and then at 7 p.m. on a Sunday, you make phones ring. And then people just click accept and they're right in the call. So that's like a very different use case than what you can do with courses and ActiveCampaign on the web.
I gotta admit, Matthias, I'm sold. I really want to do the test, because I really see your point. Because in our space where we are, I think we have the situation that it's kind of crowded. We found along the way a little bit of like a calm place with LinkedIn. There is not a lot of LinkedIn consulting, especially not a lot of good consulting for this part. But I really see your point. Our clients are also every day on their phones. They are using WhatsApp every day. And the only channel that I have today are like LinkedIn and my email list. And if I have ultimately the way to get on their phones and to reach them through another channel, that would be something that is really interesting. And I saw this trend, especially in the radios here in Hamburg. They all push their listeners to their own apps these days. And I found that really interesting because I never heard that before until I think like 2-3 years ago. They started like, send us your wishes for the next song in our own app. And now I think I get their concept, like owning their own listeners and try to, or get a way to contact them, not just with their radio frequencies. Yeah.
It's an interactive marketing channel, you can argue.
And really quick question here. Sure. So the app, I can fully like customize it. It can say like Leaders Media.
Yeah, that's the whole point. So it's your branded own app in the App Store, Play Store, also on web.
Love it. I'm going to sign up right after this interview. I really want to do the test. Really. I would love to test it because, as you said, this is something no one is on the mobile phones in our market. I don't know yet if I can share this interview after talking about this, because it could be really a huge innovation. Because this business world, I talk to the people at LinkedIn because they also consult us on LinkedIn ads and we can talk to them. And I was like, summertime, how is it on LinkedIn? And they said, our engagement is up 15%. And I'm like, why? The people are on vacation. And they're like, what are they doing on the beach? They are checking their LinkedIn apps. And I was like, it makes totally sense. And there is like an audience, a business audience that is every day on their phones, but not in their emails. And this is absolutely a test worthy to try it. Yeah, I'm in.
Very nice.
That is really, really interesting because this mobile first approach is really something that I try to grasp. And I think that was something on my mind that is really like what you said before, that is something that is some kind for the people, I think, attached to fitness and stuff like that, because you just need the phone, you do like a course, or you can do like your exercise routines, and that's it. And I was like, if you need something on your desktop, or you need the desktop version of ActiveCampaign or ClickFunnels and stuff like that, there is no case for that. But just what you said with the events and stuff like that and the push notifications, or you're doing a live training or stuff like that, this is so interesting to get the people with one click into that thing.
Yeah. What we also see more coming is in the new hybrid world, right? Where like it's more digital, but also now physical again. If you think about an event, and we even do this at our team events, we use the app, like everyone gets the app out to do feedback assessments, for example, because everyone has the phone in the pocket, not the computer at hand. And number two, we can also give access at events to certain pieces of content. So I can stand in the front and say, hey guys, you actually now have access to this right now. Everyone that is here, you can check it out later in the break or whenever. And I can connect like the physical with the digital very effectively because they have the phone in their pocket. That makes sense.
Give me some features, Matthias, that I can use. So there is some kind of events, right, where I can say that people, I'm live right now and you can join. Can I do like presentations in there, or is it just with me and my face cam? What options do I have?
For presentations, for live presentations, I would say, I mean, you know, like we are a 3-year-old startup and it's like a business builder from A to Z with like, you have to get the apps, there's codes, there's community, there's all these things. And let's say we are a scale up now, but don't expect that you have a better experience than with Zoom. Yeah? Because Zoom is just bigger and more mature and everything. At some point, like our philosophy is, there will always be a simple yet powerful native solution for also live streaming. But just put your Zoom link in there. And if you want to use Zoom and you're used to it and your customers are used to that, then just do that, right? So put the link there. It's still good that you engage them into the app and they click the link and that's like still a value add. But don't expect that we are like better than what Zoom does, what Facebook does, what Instagram does, what all the others do, right? It's more like creating this one central digital version of Leaders Media, for example, that people have in their pocket, can access at any point when they want, or you can also nudge them if you want them to.
And they can then access like online classes like in course form or watch these videos, right? And is there like a community tab where people can like chat and stuff like that?
Yeah, exactly. It goes more, community is so differently interpreted by many companies. Facebook does it as a feed. And the reason why it's a feed, because they at some point had to crack monetization, and the feed is something where you can put ads in. Yeah. And like between posts, you have then ads. Our community is much more like a Slack or Discord, where you have, you can also have multiple communities. You maybe have a free community, then you have different channels in there. And then you may have a VIP community that only people that have a higher price plan or bought a higher price plan have access to. Again, with channels, then a member list, and also private chats. You can pick if only you can approach directly people, or if they can write with each other. If they can if they can write you, because some creators, they do not want that people write them unless they are paying for that. So they would only unlock that feature for higher price community plans. And you can build a use case that makes sense for you, but you have to work that out what works for you, if that makes sense.
That sounds really good. I give it a try, because this is something, in the time of getting the attention of people. And I think this is marketing all about, to get the attention of your target group. Mobile shouldn't be like something that isn't there, but it's the most important channel. And if you can put like a digital version of Leaders Media there, I love it. Yeah. So what are the struggles, or what are like the topics that you have like as a company of 10 million recurring revenue on your list today? What are the struggles that are you fighting every day right now?
Yeah, that makes sense. We are largely bootstrapped. We have some investors, but largely bootstrapped. And it's hard to deliver on that like fully loaded product pipeline with the resources that we have. Because it's not just like Calendly scheduling something and that's it, right? Like literally, a Calendly is one of the widgets that you can use inside a lesson of a course of multiple courses and so on that you can build, right? So it's quite complex. It's a lot of work, and we have limited resources. So we have a big backlog of customer requests that we cannot fulfill quick enough. That's, I would say, a big challenge. I would say another one is apps are still kind of like secluded a bit from the world. What do I mean by that? You need so far a developer account, and you then have to be quite technical, then go through a moderation with Apple and Google to eventually get something approved that is then listed in the Apple Store or Google Play Store. It's not like launching a web page with a tab. You all of a sudden have a web page and that's it. Yeah, it's much more complex. And you almost have to live in the metrics to make this work. So we created.
And you make it work for your customers?
Yeah, we democratize access to the app stores by making it really easy to achieve that. That is an ongoing process, which we will 100% still do in 5 years and maybe like in 10 years as well, to make it automated further and further and further. Right now, you can actually do it if you're like a normal person like we are. It still is like some effort to set up the account connected to Passion and get your app pushed, but it's much more convenient. You don't need a developer, you don't need a designer, you can do it by yourself. How I picture this in the future at some point is that there is
one-click integration.
One-click thing, and it's all set up and that's it. And for that, you, for example, also have to handle the moderation with Apple and Google. But we know when they tell us something, what the actual best reply is, because we've launched thousands of apps, right? So that can at some point maybe even automate it with, you can call it AI or some logic that just gives the right answer and fixes the right thing in order to make the app compliant and launched. Yeah, so that's like the app submission part is certainly something which is to be improved further.
I got a question for your first point. That is really interesting because especially you said that you're using ActiveCampaign as well. This is something that I really recognize with the email marketing tools out there. So I tried, I think, several times before, like 2, 3, or 4. And most of them were at some point, I think they got more and more requests from clients of features that it got so complex that I was like, I don't even know what it means, this button. What is it for? And I came into the back end of ActiveCampaign and I was like, it's so refreshing. There are like just 3 buttons. I know where to click. I know what the main features are and I know how to use it. And since then, I never tried anything else because I was so happy. But I get the point. As a software developer, you get all these feature requests from your clients. How do you prioritize? Because I think ActiveCampaign developers have to say like 95% no to new features. And I think there are a lot of people saying every day, we want this, we want this, we want this. How do you like navigate this, making your clients happy while keeping it very lean? I think that should be a struggle, or not?
It's really difficult. It's really difficult, especially on a mobile device. Everything has to be very simple yet powerful, and to work with people that are starting, but also with the bigger ones, right? And they have different requirements. So one thing that definitely helps is to have a very clear product vision and know exactly like what we're working towards. Because then, for example, what you're not doing is, hey, we have 15% fitness guys, and they say we want to have a nutrition tracker, right? It's like, yeah, it's fine, but like our mission is to be the mobile first tool like for all verticals. So we do the core, and then at some point you can have a third-party plugin economy where third parties develop plugins, similar to what you know from WordPress, Shopify, Salesforce, right? So all the mass customization to verticalize, you do with that. And then you just pull in what you need from like a plugin marketplace, right? So that's something where then everyone can customize more. We don't have that yet, but it will come. And I would say the second really important thing is it's called an ICP, an ideal customer profile, to really know who your ideal customer is, and then to be very close to them and don't develop towards what everyone is saying, because if you, and this is normal in our business, you have a limited amount of people that are hyper successful, and you have a lot of people that are like starting out. And that is the same for Kajabi, for Shopify, for all the others. So if you just hear to the starters, to whatever they want or think they want, is not necessarily the right thing. You have to manage two parties. One is like the successful guys and help them to become more successful, that they stay. And then you have to make it very easy for the others to replicate that success, that you have an engine where the small guys are attracted by the big guys are happy, stay, and attract small guys again. And you have to focus that. But ultimately, it's a very, very, very difficult problem to solve, especially with the resources that we have and then on a mobile phone screen.
Really impressive, because I found this with the email marketing tools a very, very like clear case that it's really a struggle and really difficult to navigate this.
MailChimp too simple, Infusionsoft or Keep too complicated, HubSpot too enterprisey, too expensive. You're like, okay. And then ActiveCampaign, we started on $9, like a $9 plan. Today we pay $1,000, so we do with them, right? And the tool is good, like we love it, and it scales with the customer base, and I think that is something which is the foundation of a very scalable business, especially in the market where we are with individual business owners.
They found their perfect place, I think, and they manage really, really well. So how about your team? How many people are you, and are you getting enough talent, or how is the situation over there?
Yeah, that's a good question. We are 55 people. We are remote since to 2018, so way before COVID. The reason was also because we had so many customers from the US and then Canada and Australia and not really Germany. So they always said like, you guys are remote, and we're sitting in an office, and we're like, wait, we're not, we're like sitting in an office, we're not remote. But then we had to go remote to really serve them through good customer service. And also we found really good developers that we didn't want to feel like satellite citizens, second-class citizens. So we said, let's make it fair, and everyone dials in. Today, we have people in the US, all over Europe, no office, Africa as well, South Africa, the Philippines, Indonesia, Eastern Europe, Russia.
Cool.
Everywhere. And I think that's on the one hand, maybe is repelling to people that look for an office. Where everyone is sitting together, which is also cool. But we also are very appealing to a lot of people out there who also want to be independent and have an impact. And yeah, then we also we value the personal connection a lot. We have quarterly offsites where we fly together to cool locations.
Cool.
We have been to Prague, recently to Split. On the Philippines, we had one. Next one is maybe in Barcelona or Lisbon. So we all fly together. We do with cool creators, cool stuff. We also flew customers in last time. We did karaoke together. We drew together paintings, which was quite cool because no one could really draw.
Yeah.
And that just bonds us and makes us very excited and bridges these times where we're all on Slack or working remotely in all the different countries. And the culture is actually much, much, much better than it was
with this. That's really good to hear. And you're always looking for good talent, or I'm excited about Passion and IO and I can apply for a job, or how is the situation?
Yeah, definitely. We always look for great people. If it's on the marketing side or creators as well, that want to have us work with other people on creating something which is cool for the creator economy, but also of course, product tech developers. We are pretty flexible from the US all over to Indonesia.
Cool.
We want to work with people of the right values and culture fit, and really help them and to learn and grow so that we together can create a big impact on the planet.
Sounds great. So how do I get in touch with you? On what's your favorite platform to shoot you a message?
That's a good question. I love WhatsApp. I love WhatsApp as well. Yeah. I would say you can just contact me on LinkedIn. You can send me an email. That's Matthias or Matthias for non-Germans.
Oh yeah, Matthias.
Matthias, yeah. Matthias at passion.io.
Yeah.
And then I'm also going to share my WhatsApp number there, usually as the first step.
Yeah, perfect. Matthias, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the insights. It was a real pleasure to get to know all this in these points. I will absolutely have a test on Passion.io. I can see, or I want to see if we can crack it for the business world. And I will let you know what happened with Leaders Media on Passion.io. So thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you, Robert.